with your sister Dr. Maat, your brother Ankh is in the building, family, and you see the title, Dr. Say it again, brother Ankh. I butchered it already.
Cologne,
Cologne.
Dr. Cologne.
Thank you,
Cologne.
Dr. Cologne. Dr. Cologne,
Mhm.
Dr. Derek Cologne is in the building, family, and you see the title. I titled it, he disputes Tariq Nasheed's and Lord Jamal's position on the origins of hip hop, and brother Tariq Nasheed just dropped a documentary that talks about or discusses the origins of hip hop, and it's his position and the position of many people that hip hop is the creation of African American people, that is birthed from African American culture, there are folks who say, well, no. Puerto Ricans were there, right? Puerto Ricans contributed to it, or Latinos contributed to it, and even there are people saying, no, Jamaicans have contributed to it. And so you hear other groups or other cultures saying, no, we had a hand in it too. And I was having a conversation with Brother Ankh about my trip to the Baltimore Art Museum about a year ago. They had an exhibit on hip hop, and I'll bring that up. I'll actually bring it up once we bring Dr. Cologne on. But they do say in the museum that hip hop was created by Black and Latinos. When I walked in the museum, Brother Ankh, it was like right there on the hip hop, at the front of the hip hop exhibit. And so anyway, I will bring up that screenshot. But Brother Ankh, what's going on with you? What's going on with you, God Killer?
Ooh, we done had a powerful week, lighting the streets on fire, man. I appreciate these conversations, man. Appreciate you, Doc. Appreciate all the work you do on a daily basis. Like you remind me, not just the summertime, all year long. Educating the babies on STEM. We appreciate that. And we appreciate the conversations that are always elevated, especially when we do it together. So we got some more shows lined up. The Professor Dave, that was a powerful show right there. Very spontaneous and right to the point, man. So make sure y'all like and subscribe. Get the viewership up, man. Like and subscribe all the channels, because we doing it big, and y'all love us. So that's why we continue to keep doing it.
I shade Brother Ankh. And Brother Ankh, I gotta say this. I was so proud of the interview that you did yesterday with Professor Dave. I actually watched it twice. So you were on with him for like hour and 7 minutes, and well, actually really like 40 minutes, and then you opened it up to like Q&A. You allowed the pseudo killers to come on and ask some questions, and then you had the after party. But that was a very informative interview. I love how you dug deep into his book and topics that we're curious about, right? Like this whole idea of nature versus synthetic. We think that if it's natural, it's better. If it's man-made, it's terrible. And you had him break down that. And he talked about the synthesis of molecules, which you always talked about, what you've been talking about. And, it's crazy, Brother Ankh, because a lot of the things that Professor Dave's uttered on your platform and on this platform, you and I've been saying this for over a decade. Like, we have receipts on YouTube of us talking about the very same things. But I guess, the white man's ice is colder, and so when folks hear it from white people, it's like, oh, but Brother Ankh and, Dr. Maat said it, it was very dismissed. And I do want to say something for the record. Look, guys, because someone's in the chat like, well, why Top Flight TV? Oh, why didn't y'all bring on Tariq to discuss this? First of all, I did reach out to Brother Tariq. I don't see Brother Ankh. I don't think they understand how I move. Before, exactly when we had that review of Lord Jamal's exchange with Professor Dave, I reached out to Lord Jamal and told him that we were going to review it and invited him on the platform. Okay. Brother Tariq Nasheed, I text that brother and I told him Dr. Cologne was going to be a guest on this platform to discuss his position on hip hop. See, I don't move. I'm not a shaky person. So I don't, you know what I mean, Brother Ankh? I'm real. And so if I'm going to have a conversation about you or your name is in the title, trust and believe that I've already had conversations with these people. Okay. I don't move shaky. That's not what I do, Top Flight TV. So anyway, without further ado, I'm going to bring on Dr. Derek Cologne. Dr. Cologne, how are you doing this evening?
I am doing fantastic. Thank you so much. How do I pronounce your name?
Dr. Maat. So it's Maat.
Maat.
Yes.
Okay, Dr.
Yes,
Maat.
sir.
Thank you so much for having me. Yeah, I'm doing fantastic. It's been a great day. Got to teach my little ones today in school. So yeah, it was a good day.
Good, 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 good. And so let's start off with the question that Brother Ankh wanted to ask you. We were backstage, and I was like, "No, Ankh, let's save it for the let's save it for the public." So he said he wants to know, what did you get your doctorate in?
Education. Yeah,
Okay.
with a specialization in curriculum and instruction, but yeah, education is the doctorate.
Okay, so
Mm-hmm.
you got a doctoral degree in education. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Did you have to write a dissertation, or did you have to take class, like, because I know some doctoral programs it differs. Some of them you had to take an exam, some of them you actually have to write a dissertation, some of them is
Mm-hmm.
just accumulating, a number of course credits. And so for your doctoral program, just out of curiosity, what was your
Mm-hmm.
process?
Yeah, so it was a 3 year program, and then the fourth year was a 1 year dissertation
Ah,
process
okay.
going
So
through. Yeah, so it was a that was a beast, going through the five. They take you through five stations, and yeah, they you send in them papers, they sending them back, red letters all over the place. You got to
yeah,
keep
yeah,
fixing it.
I'm
Yeah,
familiar. I'm familiar with it because some
crazy.
people, yeah, some folks don't have to, like you said, they don't have to write a dissertation. I'm like, what? Your doctoral program didn't require you to do it? They're like, no.
Hmm.
So I know that it differs from college to college or university to university. Brother Ankh, your thoughts?
Oh, on that. Oh, I'm glad you have a real degree, because around here people be playing that game with those degrees. So I appreciate you. I
Yes, sir.
appreciate the quality of your education, and this is going to be a lively conversation, and I'm up for it, and I'm definitely up for learning. To get your doctoral, there's a different type of research required. So I'm on my
Mhm.
A game. I'm listening because I know how you're gonna come.
Okay. All right. So Dr. Cologne, let's start off here. I did hear your name. You were on Brother Tariq Nasheed's platform. I know the two of you had an exchange, about
Mhm.
the origins of hip hop. And I don't want to misrepresent your position, but from my understanding, your position is that hip hop was created, and I'm using my word, I'm picking my words equal, carefully, created equally
Mhm.
between African American and Puerto Ricans. Is that your position?
Yeah, and there's more nuances to it, but that's my position. That's the basic nutshell. But there's it has to be fleshed out, right?
It has
So
to be
yeah.
flushed out, right? Okay, but yet
Mhm.
that is, just to summarize it or capitulate it, you're saying that it is, it was a creation, a joint, this was a joint venture. It wasn't just like, African Americans invented it. You're saying that this is, or the creation of hip hop was a joint venture. So you have the floor. Please
Mhm.
explain and lay out the evidence that you have for your position.
Yeah, so I think I think the best way to start is, I was just thinking about this conversation earlier, is, there's a one of my degrees is a master's of divinity in theological studies. So that's my master's degree, and one of the disciplines that we had to go through in that, when it came to biblical languages, is the art and science of biblical interpretation, hermeneutic,
Mhm.
which is called hermeneutics. And so in that, we had to deal with the importance of context. And you know, the name of my channel is Urban Exegesis. So to exegete means to dig out, and it really applies to the scriptures. But for me, I apply it to, history. I apply it to all, to be able to just dig out the truth in its proper context. And so when we listen to the conversation on the culture of hip hop, first of all, we're listening to it from, and this is not to be disrespectful. This is just, we've got a new generation of people who are reporting on the culture. And of course, there's plenty of people who can report on the culture. It's history. But when you're reporting on the culture, and then you're taking things out of their proper context to create a context, that's problematic. And so what I mean by that is, when we got into this conversation, I got into this conversation maybe 2 years ago, maybe even longer, 2.5 years ago. And a little bit about my background: I'm from the Bronx. I'm from the era of the 70s. I'm going to be 58 this month. So I'm seeing, when I say I'm there, I'm in the Bronx and I'm watching what's happening. I'm watching the culture.
And
Though we
what
didn't
year was this, Doc?
75,
So we're in 75.
1975.
We're in
Yeah.
75. Okay.
So 1975, I'm seeing the birth pangs, if you will, right? So there's always been people playing music, you know, in the streets. There's always been DJs outside. There's always, but we're talking about a specific context. And so, you know, I'll take it from the first eyewitness accounts of what I saw first was definitely the element of the b-boy, the breaking. And so breaking begins around 74, late 74 into 75. That's when breaking as we know it begins. And we're talking about top rocking to floor rocking to freezes. It was very basic stuff. And I'm watching this as an 8-year-old, 9-year-old, 10-year-old. I'm seeing this. There's kids in my classes that are doing this new dance that wasn't a social dance. It was totally new. There had always been social dances, but it's new. I'm from an area in the Bronx called the Mount Hope section of the Bronx, which is a place called Echo Place, Echo Park, Webster Avenue, the Grand Concourse. All of that is, and this is a pivotal area. This is one of many pivotal areas. Of course, you got Bronx River, you got Crotona Avenue, you got Bronxdale, you got all these pivotal areas. But my block was a pivotal area, and I didn't even really know how pivotal it was until I started to get a little bit older.
Uh-huh.
So
I do want to interject and say this. You're saying
sure.
that the dance came about in the mid 70s. We have
Mhm.
footage in the African American community that predate the 70s, showing us doing, you know, a form of breaking. You know, I
Sure.
can play a video right now. I'm talking about a
Mhm.
black and white film where they're spinning around on the ground, and I mean, we didn't call it breaking, but
Right.
the dance, you know, one would say, you know, they're breaking. So I don't want to put that out there that it, you know, that breaking came about in the mid 70s, because we have black and white footage going all
Mhm.
the way back even to the 40s of
Mhm.
breaking being done in the African American community. But please continue.
Yeah. And so, and I was gonna definitely get to that part because that lends to context again, right? So when we, you know, it's like, so I'll reference it this way. If I'm dealing with a New Testament text, I'm dealing with the book of Acts. I can't take something that was written in the book of Exodus, and though it looks similar, try to take it out of its context there and put it into this context. Though those dances were happening and they were phenomenal dances. The Berry Brothers, you have that brother that's with the Mills Brothers in Caravan. Yeah, I'm familiar with them.
Okay.
The Nicholas Brothers, I'm familiar
Yeah,
with all of that.
absolutely. Okay,
Yeah,
good. Yeah.
phenomenal dances.
Brother
But
Art will
what?
refer to it as proto hip hop, but please continue.
Yeah, and I've heard that, right? And I've heard that. Um, I just respectfully disagree with the idea that that was, and I love what you said, though we didn't call that breakdancing or breaking. Um, I don't believe that those moves had anything to do with the movement of the 70s. And there are those who would argue and say, hey, listen, there are precursors, right? So I
That's right.
understand,
That's
right,
right.
right.
That's
So I
right.
understand all of that, and I do. But when we talk about hip hop culture and the era of the 70s and primarily the Bronx at that time, that's the context for this movement, this new movement that is happening among excuse me, Black and Latino kids, primarily New Yorkers, right? They're not Puerto Ricans from Puerto Rico. These are generations of kids that are born and raised in the Bronx. And so my experience in seeing, that's the first element that I saw. Of course, graffiti predates that by, you know, a decade. They're already graffiti writers, and that element, and there are those who would not include that element in the culture. I do. You know, Africa Bambaataa does, but you know, so that predates it. But then we have the DJs. And so, the DJs are pivotal in the sense that you have DJs that were playing music outside, no doubt, and they're playing certain types of music. But now keep in mind, I've been a practitioner, a student, a teacher of the culture since 75. So again, from watching to participating. So I was a b-boy, I was a DJ, I wasn't a DJ, I was an MC, and I was a graffiti writer. So, and these are, early 80s and into the 80s.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm seeing this culture, and the DJs who are playing, you have people like Grandmaster Flowers, who's playing out of Brooklyn. You have, New Sounds, and all these Brooklyn DJs, and of course there's the debate among Brooklyn and the Bronx as to where hip hop, began. The Brooklyn dudes would say it comes out of Brooklyn. We were already doing this. So again, context is everything. What is the context to what they were talking about? But where you really start to see the shift is, and even in the Bronx, so you had DJs like, of course, you had DJ Smokey, you had DJ Disco King Mario from Bronxdale, you had these DJs who were playing, but it's really not until Kool Herc extends these segments. This is when, and so this is not only me saying this. These are, people who are, former Black Spades. These are people who are, former members of the Zulu Nation. All of that. They're saying, and they are contemporaries of these DJs. They went to their parties. They saw them play, and everybody would say the same thing. Well, that's a broad statement. Most people would say the same thing. They would say Herc is the first person to take the break, the segment of the break, and extend it for a specific audience, which was known as B-boys. His dancers were known as B-boys. Now, to clear this up, this does not happen in 1973 at 1520 Sedgwick Avenue. That party, and I've spoken to people who went to that party. Spoke to Dancing Doug, and he was at that party. And he told me that party was not a hip hop party. And so I said, well, why the push that it began there? And he said, it was the conception, but the birth really would be more like 75 at a place called the Hevelo. And this is where Herc, introduces the Herculoid sound system. This is where Coke La Rock takes on the name Coke La Rock. He starts talking on the mic. This is where he names his dancers the B-boys. So it starts there. Where do the Latinos fall into this? Where do the New York
let's take a breath really quickly. So it was a couple of things. Yeah, it was a couple of things that you said, and I think I kind of know where you're going. And one thing that you said was you kept saying this new movement, in the middle 70s, this new, as if this was something that just sprouted out of nowhere, and that's not the case, Dr. Cologne. It was a process. It just, like hip hop didn't get created overnight. It wasn't a thing where in the 70 and 75, boom, it starts. There were a lot of influences, right, to hip hop prior to, and again, Brother Ankh calls it proto hip hop. So it was a lot of influences, a lot of proto rap or proto hip hop, but a lot of things that were happening. Yeah, proto breaking, but it's a lot of things that were happening prior to what you saw happening when you were growing up in the 70s. So you use the word new as if it was like something invented back then, like something just in the 70s, it just sprouted out of nowhere. And so I do disagree with that. And then you made a comment, you kept emphasizing context is key. Context. And I'm gonna throw the alley-oop to Ankh, because I think I know where he's going with it when you say in the context, because there's some context that I think you're missing, which is that it was birthed, that hip hop was birthed out of African American culture. Brother Ankh, you have the floor.
Well, that's what the experts say, and you having your doctorate degree, I would just ask for a source that would actually show definitively, or at least close to it, that it was Puerto Rican culture. So when I say culture, you study Hebrew, so you also know there's Proto-Hebrew. So if you eliminate Proto-Hebrew, then you didn't killed out the whole Hebrew thing. You understand that. So we got to keep it in its proper context. So I'm not the guy to alleviate other human beings and their culture from an art form. That's ridiculous. So I agree that there are Puerto Ricans at the onset of what they start to call hip hop. That's no argument. But I'm saying, but they wasn't rapping in Spanish. Puerto Rican, because Puerto Rican Spanish is a little bit different than Spanish. Am I correct?
Yes.
Okay. They wasn't rapping it. Guess what they was rapping in? They was using African American vernacular. So at that point, culture, right? You know, language is culture. So the language that they were speaking and the culture they were speaking it was African American vernacular. Nobody would debate that. Also, I'm gonna show a video back in the 50s in Kenya where you see the same moves, the upright, the spinning on your back, all that. That's coming straight out of West Africa. So this is what I'm saying. The dance, the movements come from West Africa. The griots comes from West Africa. The vernacular comes from America. And so for me, I follow it all the way through. I don't want to cut nothing out. I don't want to leave nobody out. So it's very clear based off what the experts say that hip hop is an African-American cultural thing. Now, just because it's an African-American cultural thing, at no point should we leave nobody out. That's ridiculous. That's not even how culture works. Culture don't work that way where one group of people do everything. That's not culture. That's called flim-flamming. So I don't want to come in and flim-flam you. I want to give Puerto Ricans and everybody else that I want to give them a piece of hip-hop because it's everybody's at the end of the day. But nobody would sit up here and say that American culture is black culture. That'd be wow. You can't say that. What you can say is African Americans was at the foundation of building American culture, and the language we speak is English, right? But we have shifted the languages, right? We speak our own vernacular, and that's where hip hop is birthed out of African American vernacular, out of West African dance traditions that's in our blood that we can't take out. This is what I'm saying. So I like everything that you say. I will never take away the influences and the things that was added by those particular people. But if you could prove that they were speaking Spanish, Puerto Rican Spanish, then you would have it. That's my standpoint.
Nah, I feel you. So yeah, so again, let's get back to context. So, yeah, so I like what Dr. Maat said. Let's slow down, right? So let's slow down. So let me sort of flesh this out a little bit slower. So when we talk about, again, the elements. Now, I agree with you. What we see prior to what came to be known as hip hop's culture, we didn't call it hip hop in the 70s. That term is not even a thing until early 81, 82. And that term was coined by Africa Bambaataa. So we have what I would like to call the conception, the conceiving stage. Then we have the birthing stage. Then we have the growth stage, and then we have the identity stage, right? So, and you're right. This doesn't happen in one party in 1 year, and it doesn't happen that way. There's no way it happened that way. So this happens over time. What I'm saying to you is, when we look at the people of the Bronx, right? Let's not, and this is not to say we ignore that. My personal opinion is, and this is my personal opinion, and there are others who agree with me, and there are others who are close friends of mine that disagree with me. And that's okay. You know, what I love about this is that we can agree to disagree agreeably. We don't have to get crazy and insulting, and you know, that's not a healthy conversation. So I don't agree that what we see, I do agree that it begins in Africa. There's no doubt about that. I do agree with that, and I do agree that the formation of what we see goes from Africa, and I'm gonna explain what I'm talking about, through the Caribbean and into, you know, to the States, eventually into New York City, and we'll get into that. But what I want to say is, when we talk about the elements of the culture, or what were labeled the elements, right? We have, again, graffiti. So this is the order and the timeline There's no debate about it. This is just when these years happen, when these things happen. We have graffiti, and of course, graffiti goes back eons, right? We got people writing on walls in Egypt. We're not talking about that. We're talking about the bombing movement, the writing movement of New York City. And so we have that as the first element. We have the DJs as the second element, extending these breaks. We have the B-boys or the breakers as the third element. The last element of all of the elements are the MCs, or what we would call rappers. Now, I do understand that there are rappers who are rapping. You have I did a whole documentary on all of this. I showed all the footage, all of this. So you do have the Jubilaires, you do have, you have Pigmeat Markham, you have all of these guys who are rhyming. No doubt, they are rhyming. But the practitioners, especially if you talk to somebody like Melly Mel, if you talk to somebody like Tariq, who both of them were in Microphone Check. So
yeah, they were in Microphone Check.
Right. When you talk to them, they would say, and I've heard Tariq speak to this, like what we see back then, though they are rhyming, it is not there's not a cultural connection with the culture of hip hop. So I think we get caught up with when he called it hip hop culture. It's a subculture. It's a street culture. It's not, obviously, it's not a culture that we would think of in somebody's culture. That's Spanish culture, that's African culture. It's a street culture. So she would say, and I would quote her, paraphrase, but she would say that while she sees that, she does not look at what the MC started to do in late 76, 77, which is when the MCs begin in the connection to the culture that came to be known as hip hop. So that's what I'm talking about. So while we can visit the before,
let me say this real quick without cutting you off.
Yeah.
I understand, because ain't nobody gonna see it. It's not till we look back in history and put the pieces together. While you doing it, you don't see it.
That's right.
And we got to. This is how culture works. Culture don't work like we saying it.
That's
wow,
right.
I seen it. Hold up. That's not how it actually works.
Not at all.
The historians go back and look at it. You don't even know you're influenced by the African drum. You don't even know you're influenced by the movement of that. You have to study that to see that. Right? So it's not it's not a pop up out of nowhere thing. That's exactly my point. That's not actually how culture works. Culture does not pop up out of nowhere. And I think here language is key.
Yes, absolutely.
Language is key. If you rapping in Puerto Rican Spanish, then you got us, right? You're not.
But
the vernacular is African American. That's not even a problem. That's some pieces on the board. You got to say, I got that.
Come on, exactly, Dr. Cologne. Yeah, you can't.
Yeah,
it's like some. Yeah.
All I'm saying.
You get my point, right? You get my point.
Absolutely.
Yeah, no, I get your point. I understand what you're saying.
What's my point?
Your point is
what?
If you can prove to me that they were rapping in Spanish, then okay, that's your contribution to the culture. What I'm saying to you is...
No, that's not saying that. That means they would have been rapping in Puerto Rican lingo. Because when Puerto Rico speak Spanish, it's not like the colonial Spanish.
But you have rap as the foundation of hip hop's culture. It is not.
No, I didn't say that. No,
he never said that. He never made that claim.
No, come on. You got to explain Hebrew stuff. I said that we understand Hebrew culture through its language.
Right.
You study the text. So if it was European language, right, then that's how we know the Greeks influenced Christianity, because it's in Kohan Greek. So we know that the Hebrew speakers had to be educated, right, at least 2-3 generations to even write that text. But it's influenced by Greece based off the thing. So my point was that African American vernacular is the influence on hip hop. Whether you're in Harlem, whether you're in Brooklyn, right? It's still, that's what it is. It might be an Brooklyn swag on it, but it's African American vernacular. If you're Mississippi, it's Mississippian swag on it, but it's that. Sure. And that's some things I'm not going to debate, because you understand. You said you studied the text. I'm keep doing this because I'm trying to put this with so we on the same. So you know where I'm coming at. I know where you're coming at because I'm not coming at this crazy. I respect you. I respect.
I know. I hear you. I hear you.
I didn't like the way you didn't get a chance to really speak, and that Tariq thing. I felt like he bulldozed you. So I'm not doing that to you. It was crazy. But what I'm saying is that what we learn about culture is language is culture.
That's right. Language is culture. And hold on. Let me just to back you up on this. So again, I had the opportunity to visit. It was an exhibit at the Baltimore Arts Museum in East Baltimore. Okay, they had an exhibit, and it's like an exhibit. You know how it is, a seasonal exhibit. They bring it in, and it goes from one museum to the next. And so it says the name of the exhibit was The Culture, right? Hip hop and contemporary art in the 21st century, right? And so as soon as I walked in, didn't mean to make it this large, but let me move it over. So it says, from the streets to the runway, the artist studio to the museum gallery, and countless sites in between, the culture, hip hop, and contemporary art in the 21st century explores hip hop's deep impact on contemporary art and culture, one of the most vital movements of the 20th century. Hip hop is now a global industry and a way of life, right? In the 21st century, hip hop practitioners have harnessed digital technologies to gain unparalleled economic, social, and cultural capital. So here says hip hop emerged in the 1970s in the Bronx as a form of celebration expressed by Black, and it says Latinx youth through MCing, rapping, DJing, graffiti writing, and breakdancing. So it says over the past 50 years, these creative practices have produced new forms of power as they critique, celebrate, and refuse dominant one. So I'm gonna be honest with you. I was thrown. Like, I was like, what? When it said it emerged in the 70s, and even the museum, I mean, they, is saying that emerged because this is something that that was expressed by, and notice that they use the word express, not created by. Come on, come on.
I agree with that statement right there.
Right. That's what I was saying. Come on.
I agree with that.
Right, that it was expressed.
Yeah,
it was expressed by Blacks and Latinos.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't use the word created by. Had they used the word created by, I'm sorry, it is my position that they would have to say that it was birthed from African American culture or created by African American youth in the Bronx. But let me say something that Ankh said, which was very important. He talked about language. Ankh kept honing in on language. So the museum says this, okay? Hip hop has deeply informed the culture, an expression of Black diasporic culture that has largely defined itself against white dominance. Ankh, you heard that? Did you read that, Ankh? Yeah. Hip hop has deeply informed the culture, an expression of Black diasporic culture that has largely defined itself against the white dominance. In the art museum, however, culture has historically meant a European focused set of aesthetics, values, and traditions that are sustained through gatekeeping. It says the works in these galleries explore the place where culture and the culture collide through 6 themes. What was the first one you named, Dog? Language, brand, adornment, tribute, pose, and ascension. It says language, whether in words, music, or graffiti, explores hip-hop strategies and subversion, right? The brand highlights the icons born from hip-hop and the seduction of success. Adornment. So the way I say all that to say, and I want to show this, it was language. Language was primary. That's the first thing they said on the language. And you kept saying language is, culture. Culture is language. But that's the first thing they said, the language. So Ankh was saying to you, Doc, look, you got to look at the language. You want to determine the origins of a thing. You better look at the language. When you look at the language, you see that it is African American vernacular that birthed it, or that it comes from, right? And then they start talking about adornment and brand, the way we dress. Think about the way we dress, look at how the early MCs dressed, the swag that they had. That's African American swag. That's not Puerto Rican swag at all, Doc. That's
Puerto Rican rised. I like to say that. African American swag, Puerto Rican rise.
Right. Yeah, but it was
that's how slick it is.
Yeah, but it was African American. It was our swag. The gold chains, the hats, the jeans. You get what I'm saying? All of that. That's African American. No one was dressing like a Puerto Rican, during that time. Everybody had to convert to African American culture when they were participating in hip hop. It's an African American cultural invention.
Okay.
Which, if we're going to be healthy about the conversation, and I don't think the conversation has been healthy. I think it's been very divisive, out of order, buzzwords. You shouldn't use the word nigga, all that. And for me, that's crazy.
You mean this conversation?
No, of course not. We're having a healthy conversation.
Okay.
So you gonna act like you ain't been through it. You ain't been attacked. You ain't gonna act like that.
Oh my, yeah.
Like what you saying coming from Mars somewhere. I don't think your conversation is coming from Mars. I think you have points that people should sit down and look at, and to get the real scope of hip hop. They got fake hip hop. That's fake hip hop. If you take other people out of hip hop, now it's not hip hop no more. See, I know that. Okay, so I understand that. So what I'm fighting for is to get the full circle understanding of it. Just like she just talked about the language. I think that's key. Okay, just like we talk about the swag, the way you dress. But now I understand also you got African-American swag, but then Puerto Ricans come with a little bit different. They throw a little extra tassel right here, a little extra color in the shoes. That's how culture works. So, but when you dive up on, like the Hebrews, when you're away from it, you see Hebrew culture. When you get all the way up on it, you start to see some elements here, there. Okay, all right. That's how culture works. A culture is not in a vacuum. That's not how that works. To get the full scope of it, you got to talk about all the elements of it. So I appreciate you. I think you coming in, putting all. I think that was needed. See, I'm comfortable in my African Americanness. I'm comfortable in understanding that hip hop is African American culture. But just because it's African American culture doesn't mean that it was all African Americans. That's crazy. That's not culture. That's made up stuff.
But let me say this, Ankh. Nobody never said that it was all that. I mean, I know that you and I, we were talking about it on the phone. Tariq Nasheed, Tariq Nasheed and Lord Jamar never said it was just all blacks. They never said that. They always said, and I agree with them, that the Puerto Ricans came later. That's what they said. They never, no one ever, hold on. No, from what I've seen, no one has ever said that Puerto Ricans did not contribute. Nobody else contributed to the growth and expansion of hip hop. That would be crazy to say. Like you said, culture doesn't even work that way. So that would be crazy to say. Nobody ever made that position. No one ever took that position. They were just saying, look, it's an African American cultural invention, right? And that, yes, other groups of people, even Lord Jamar brought on some Puerto Ricans to talk about the contributions of Puerto Ricans to hip hop. So he never said, that nobody else contributed. Tariq never said nobody else contributed. They just said we were here first and other people came later, and people got in their feelings. That's
came later. But I don't agree with the came later though.
Okay, well, you don't have to. You don't. Well, I do. I do. So we can get the argument on. Go ahead.
Look, because of it, we ain't gonna argue. Because if it's 10 of us, right?
Let me give you the receipts as to why we didn't come later, so we could talk about that, because we definitely didn't come later. We are there from the inception.
Let me say this before you get, because you about to hit us with some technical. I like the way you did the technical. Y'all get ready to get technical. I want to make this example. If it's 10 of us there, and it's 8 of us, let's say 7 of us are African Americans and 3 of us are Puerto Ricans.
No, it was no Puerto Ricans. It's all 10 of us were all 10 of us were Black Americans.
Well, that ain't hip hop. But that ain't hip hop. Yeah, but that ain't hip hop then. That ain't hip hop then.
Nah. And we doing our thing, and then you decide to come and join in. That's something.
And that's the argument he's having.
Well,
he's having. I'm saying that there's a stage in proto rap and proto hip hop where there's no Puerto Ricans. That's what I'm saying. And I'm saying by the time it moves and gets you, we start to galvanize and call hip hop. You got 4 or 5 people that you would consider to be Puerto Ricans, which is wild because they ain't took no daggone DNA test. You'd be surprised, right? And what you would call African Americans. And out of that, you get what they call hip hop. practicing African American culture, speaking African American vernacular, doing West African Kenyan dancing. That's what I'm saying. That's what I don't
you
think
can
nobody
say
get past
you
that.
can oh, we get past that easy. Everybody in
I'm
the
going to
chat
play the
saying
video.
everybody in the chat saying you did wrong. You can no. I'm talking about ain't nobody get past that. They weren't there. They weren't there. They weren't there initially. They weren't there. They came later. They came later.
Let me tell you where we were.
They came later. They came later. I'm not saying that they didn't come to the party. I'm not saying that they never came to the party. They came to the party. No. They came to the party, but we was at the party. Stop. Y'all gotta stop that. It was so much racism and segregation going on back then.
Here we go.
It was not a big melting pot. It was not no big melting pot where everybody was creating and pot locking together. It wasn't that. It was let's get it. It was us. 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 And they came later, and it's okay. But the thing is, and it's offensive because this is what I don't do. I don't take anything away from what other cultures create. I appreciate it. I applaud it. If Puerto Ricans create something, I give you your props for it. You get what I'm saying? If Jamaicans create something, I give you your props for it. If continental Africans create something, I'm gonna give you your props. But God damn it, I just feel like every time the African American creates something, we can't create nothing by ourselves. It always gotta be somebody helped us. We didn't even build the pyramids. Remember? Oh, it was the aliens that did it. Every time we create and then we invent something, it's no such thing as an African genius. We can't do anything by ourselves. It's always, well, it was black and white that did it together. It was black and Puerto Rican did it together. No, some things we did create by ourselves. And guess what? It's okay. It's okay. It just seems like with the African American, we can never create nothing by ourselves. I think that really people that do push that narrative that we did not create hip hop, I'm not saying that nobody didn't contribute, but that it did not come out of African American culture. Those are people, in my opinion, that suffers from an inferiority complex. I'm sorry, because the African genius and African culture created hip hop, and I'm standing on that.
Well, you showed the thing with the museum, right?
They didn't say created by, expressed. I don't have a problem with that.
No, I know.
Created by
though. I'm going to the museums. I'm going with the museums.
Well, they said express, and it's a difference. It's a difference between created by and express. Absolutely. They did not address who created. They just talked about who expressed, not who created.
I'm saying what the museum is saying.
Oh, okay. Well, if you're saying what the museum is saying, then we ain't got a problem. Okay, then we ain't got a problem.
That's why I say, we was on the phone, and I say, I thought
we ain't got a problem, but I just get tired of people, it's always, we cannot ever create anything. It's like it got to be a joint effort with us and somebody else. No, other groups of people have created things, and I give them props. Whether you're a European, whether you're an Asian, whether you are a Caribbean, or I'll give other cultures props. You create something good, but why is it that when we create something, we can't get props for it? If we created it, and there's nothing wrong with saying, damn, we created it. Yes, we came and we contribute. Yes, it's nothing wrong with that. And that is my position.
Are you mad? Because everything I read say that. So I'm trying to figure out.
No, I ain't mad with you. I ain't mad with you. It ain't you.
I know you ain't mad with me.
I'm just listening. Yeah.
I'm saying I go with the experts. Cologne, you're going to have to write some formal papers on this. You said
with the expert. What the experts saying, Ankh? You said you go with the experts. What are the experts saying?
That is African American culture. Simple as that.
African
But I'm trying to give the definition of what. But I'm trying to talk about what African American culture is. Not a people; it's a legacy. And African Americans practice African American culture, but you have other people that practice African American culture, just like you got non-Europeans that practice European culture. I'm talking about culture. See, I know I can't lose on that. That's my point. I think that's the sticking point. I think that's where the scholars fall at. So if I'm sitting here thinking that African American culture don't influence other people, like AE, indigenous African culture, African American culture has quote unquote influence indigenous African culture, and I dare not say that that's indigenous African culture. That's African American culture. You can go there right now; they doing hip hop. That means they have been influenced by the youth that practice African American culture.
Yeah, we've influenced the world. I wouldn't argue with that. African American culture has influenced the world. I wouldn't I wouldn't argue with that. I actually agree with that. That we, you know what I mean,
Let's
look at it. I mean, it's in the Olympics now. We see it on the big screen now. They were breaking. They did the white girl just butchered it. I forgot who the white chick was in the Olympics, but she butchered it. That white girl butchered. She butchered it so bad the white people started packing her. It was just terrible.
They were like, oh,
they started dragging. I saw so many clips of her on the internet. But think about it. It's become to the it's on the big screen now. It's in the Olympics. Like breakdancing is a part of the Olympics now. So
so
African American culture, we've influenced the world. Sometimes even when I go over to Africa, when I go over to Africa, them brothers over there, you think everybody walking around in Ghana with mud cloth on, you crazy. I go over there, man, them brothers got on Nike hats, sweatsuits, and everything else. Whether I'm in Ghana, when I was in Cameroon, I saw it. When I went down, when I'm in the Caribbean, in Jamaica, I see our culture everywhere I go in the world. Everywhere that I have traveled to in the world, I've seen the influence of African American people. Absolutely. Here we go. Dr. Cologne, you quiet over there. What's going on?
Now he got his bullets in the chamber. He just let me get it.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, let go ahead. I want him to go ahead. Rock off.
he peeked on like this.
I'm just listening. I'm listening. So I would say, when the charge is made that the Puerto Ricans, and let's talk about Tariq, let's talk about Lord Jamar, when they say, and they said this in the documentary, and when they say the Puerto Ricans came later, okay. So the later to them is 78, 79. Okay, again, the X factor in the culture of hip hop are not the MCs. The X factor in the culture of hip hop are the B-boys. And these are practitioners, these are pioneers who are African American pioneers. One of them being Charlie Rock, one of the 11 Zulu Kings, who would say emphatically, the X factor in hip hop's culture are not the MCs. They are the B-boys. And that's before the MCs. So, okay, so I've heard this. The first B-boys, the first breakers were black. And then y'all came later. Okay. Again, my question to the people who say this is, when is the later? So we got different dates. We got 78. We got 79. We got, y'all came with Rocksteady. Okay. So let's really unpack this, because as far back as we can go with hip hop's culture, the context of the 70s, let's not go back any further than that. We're talking about what came to be known as hip hop culture. You cannot find a year. You cannot find a participant. So let's say we're talking about, which is, this is what's hot on the internet right now. We're talking about Bronxdale. We're talking about Disco King Mario. Okay, they're saying he was DJing in 71 in Bronxdale. He was a Black Spade. He was DJing. Right next to Mario is Tex D. His name is David Santiago. Tex D is his partner. So I'm saying you got Mario, you got Tex D, a Black and a Puerto Rican. You go to the South Bronx with the PM Fun City crew, the Peacemakers, which was a gang. You got the DJs for the PM Fun City crew, Lele, who is African American, Apache, who is Puerto Rican. You got Casanova Fly, Grandmaster Caz. His first DJ partner was Disco Wiz, a Puerto Rican. His first partner in the Co-Crush, the first DJ, was Charlie Chase. Now, unbeknownst is that Charlie Chase and Tony Tone founded the Co-Crush Brothers, a Black and a Puerto Rican. Okay, let's get to breaking. When do the breakers come in? The Puerto Rican breakers come in the late 70s. All right, that's been the narrative. That's been what people have said. And these are people, and I'm telling you what I know. I'm telling you what I saw with my own eyes in 1975. Okay. Breaking begins in late 74, 75. And I'm talking again, the context of what came to be known as hip hop culture in the Bronx, late 74, 75. Okay. But the first B-boys there were black. Okay. Let's really look at that. Because that's not factual at all. That's totally untrue. I've always said this. The original B-boys, the breakers, were black and Puerto Ricans. They were black. Let me rephrase that. New Yorkers. Let me tell you why. Let me tell you why.
Go for it.
What I
Colin fighting.
saw.
He fighting.
Man, let
He
him get it
fighting.
in. Let him get it in. He hit
He
him with
trying
the
to
Black
fight.
Ricans.
He fighting for his life right now. He like,
Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. He put black and don't worry about it. He put black. He ain't say Rican black. He say Black and Ricans. I'm with you.
Go ahead, Doctor.
Right,
I'm with you.
Go ahead,
I'm with you.
Go
Go
ahead,
for
Doc.
it.
Go ahead, Doc.
So
I like the way you said it, Doc. You say Black and Ricans. I like that.
It's black and Ricans. It's black
All right,
and
good. We
Ricans.
still
There's
up
no
by
doubt
one.
about
Go
it.
ahead. We out.
Okay. So when we got the first found now you had individuals who were breaking. Okay. They're not in crews yet. And again, you don't see people going to the floor doing that. I know what we saw in the clips. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about in this context. You don't see them going to the floor and dancing to this specific music, the breaks, until late 74. You had individuals. You had Grand Mixer DXT, who was a B-boy. Okay, he's on record saying that he's a first generation B-boy. And he was a nomadic B-boy. He traveled the Bronx with his crew. And he'll tell you, my crew had Puerto Ricans and Panamanians in it. And we were the first generation B-boys. This is Grand Mix's DXT. So now we get to the B-boy crews. And this begins in 1975. And the first B-boy crew, they're called the foundational B-boy crews, right? There's 5 of them. The foundational crews. The first crew is a crew called the Bronx Boys Rocking Crew. It's TBB. Okay, they begin in 1975. They were a graffiti crew in 74 or before that too. And they switched over and became a breaking crew. Now, what you have to understand is when you look at all the shirts of these early crews, that you're going to see the word rocking. The Bronx Boys Rocking Crew, the Rock Steady Crew, the Dynamic Rockers, the Rockwell Association. Rock was in the name. Well, where does that come from? There's a root to that. Okay, so in 1969, there is a dance that is formed within the Latino community, the New York City Latino community called rock. Now, you got 2 versions of rock, and I'm getting this all connects. You got 2 versions of rock. You have what they call freestyle rock, which you would see they were going to these clubs where these specific DJs were playing this specific kind of music. So it's DJs like Francis Grasso. It's DJs like Alfie Davidson, who was African American. It's DJs like Nicky Siano. It's DJs like Mancuso. And then you got Jelly Bean Benitez and you got Frankie Knuckles, who are their proteges. They're watching these dudes. These DJs are playing for specific people at their clubs. They're playing for these dancers that call themselves rock dancers. Okay, what does that look like? So you got they're in these clubs. And then you got the Brooklyn Rock, which is what you would see a lot of the gang members doing. And so that's more of the mimicking of the stabbing and the shooting. And so this is out of the gang members. And the majority of the gang members that were doing this, Spades were doing this, no doubt about it. But the majority of those gangs in the Bronx, the Puerto Rican gangs, the Savage Skulls, the Savage Nomads, the Chingalings, the Seven Immortals, these are the dudes who are doing, and then you got the Brooklyn Rockers. Okay, yeah. Come on now. Come on.
I
Come
mean,
on. Let me
Dr. Cologne, but you kind of
cook. Let me
long-winded,
cook.
man. Like I'm
But let
letting
me
you cook,
cook.
but I'm over here like
Now
we
let
gotta
him cook.
pass
Let
the.
him cook. Let
We
him
got
cook.
okay.
Let him
You
Go
cook.
ahead,
gotta
go ahead,
hear.
man.
Let him
You
Go
cook
got.
out.
ahead.
You
We
got.
gotta wind it in though. We gotta pass the
You
mic.
gotta
Let him
hear the
cook.
story though.
Go
Yeah,
ahead,
You
we
go ahead.
gotta
hearing
I'm
the
hear
hearing
the
you.
story.
story.
I'm captivated
All right.
by it.
So.
Go ahead.
All right.
Let him
So
cook, and then we're gonna
I'll
cook him up
shorten it.
with
I'll
that.
shorten it.
No,
I'll
no, no.
shorten it.
Go ahead.
Now
Go ahead.
go ahead.
No,
All right.
go ahead.
So we got these two groups call themselves rock dancers.
Full of black
What they're
Ricans,
doing.
right? Full of black
No,
Ricans, right?
this is 90% Latino.
Where the
This is
black Ricans go at?
no, but we're not at breaking yet. We're at rocking right now. Let me get to where we're going. This is
Explain
not
rocking for
breaking
the.
yet.
I know. Explain
Right.
rocking to the audience. Explain it to the audience what rocking is.
I just did. Rocking is an upright dance. Some
Yeah,
people
like
call it
that,
rocking.
like
Some
that.
people call it burning. Yeah, the whole thing like this and all that. Right.
You know what? I could
So
see that being a little stiff with an actual European cut in it. I could see that.
yeah. So
I'm gonna
we
give
got
y'all that. I'm gonna give you the upright stiff. Give them that, ladies and gentlemen, with the
oh,
European flavor to that
it ain't
side.
stiff. It ain't stiff, brother. But anyway, so we got this dance going on, and they're playing these songs for this group 69, 70, 71, 72, 73, 74, 75. They're playing records like Give It Up, Turn It Loose. They're playing records like It's Just Begun. They're playing records like Apache. They're playing records like Yellow Sunshine. They're playing these records that eventually, but they're playing the whole record, that eventually Herc would take for his dancers, who he called B-boys in 75. Right? Now, the dancers at Herc's parties were not breakers, though he called them B-boys. And they'll tell you, they were burning. It's just an iteration. The terminology is rocking. When you look at what the Latinos were doing and you look at what the burners were doing, it looks like the same dance. Okay. Now we get to late 74, 75, and we got these crews. TBB, you got CC, the CC crew. You got the Zulu Kings. You got South Soul. You got the Rockwell Association. You got Star Child La Rock. 5 of those crews, I named 6, but 5 of those crews are Puerto Rican crews, New York crews that are already doing top rocking to the floor. The Puerto Ricans named and codified the dance. They're naming moves. They're creating moves. The 3-step, the 4-step, the 6-step. These are footwork patterns that were created by Puerto Rican B-boys. The Zulu Kings were mainly the African-American brothers. And they're doing a style of breaking as well. So again, this is Black and Puerto Ricans who are doing this in the beginning stages of breaking, not later. We don't come when Rocksteady comes. In fact, TBB gave birth to Rocksteady. Crazy Legs comes out of TBB. They broke up TBB in 79. That was when Rocksteady was formed in 1979. And so 2 of the members of TBB, a Black and a Puerto Rican B-boy, went to the leader, Batch, and asked permission to start Rocksteady. Crazy Legs was a little shorty dude. He wasn't the leader at all. He takes over later. And then he takes it to other heights. But then you have the next generation of B-boy crews, the New York City Breakers, the Dynamic Rockers, all of this. So what I'm saying is we didn't come later. That's a misnomer. We didn't come in no 78. We've been there since 75. And we are foundational.
Get the 3 years. Let me play the video. I thought it was gonna
Nah,
go back to
they ain't got nothing to
19.
do with 3 years.
He went 3
You
years.
did. You said we ain't coming 78. We came in 75. And what I'm saying is that it was going on before 75.
Give me a
No,
source for that.
no.
I'm gonna go back to
It was
Not
going
as
on
we know
before.
it.
It
I know
was
what you're
going
gonna
on.
show
that
me.
was
It was.
funny.
I know
It
what
was
you're gonna
going
show me.
on before. It was
All right,
going
let's
on.
go. All right, what's this?
Go ahead.
Are we gonna call out all the different moves, the up rock, all that? We gonna go back to Africa,
Yeah.
dancing.
I have
Here
this
we
in my
gonna do this.
documentary. I
All
already
right,
know this.
okay. All
Yeah.
right, we'll
Let him cook.
you
Let
ready?
him cook.
1959.
Let him cook. Let him cook.
Yeah. Do we
Yes,
know
sir.
it? Let's
Yes,
see. Do
ma'am.
we know it? All right. So what you want to
That's the
call that?
turtle. That's
All
the
right.
turtle.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm not denying it, bro.
No.
Let
Hold
him
on.
go.
Let him
He's doing the flip. Whoa. Yep. Boom.
On the head. Yeah, that ain't a Puerto Rican move.
Yeah.
Well, that's a deep African move. Oh, on the head spin.
That's not a Puerto Rican move.
Man, nope, that's an African move. Look at that. Oh. Yeah, you out of here with this.
Brother.
Let me cook.
Wait. Clip of the white boy in the 40s doing the head spin.
There you go. Look at that. Come on, yo. Everything.
I know.
Watch the helicopter. Look at that. Yeah. That's African dancing.
I know it.
Okay, so we ain't gonna act like they ain't doing African dancing. We're not gonna do this. We're gonna stay right here. Now watch the up rock. Here you go. Up rock. Get to up rock. Yeah.
That's first of all, that's not up rock, but okay.
It is. He did the
that's
up rock
not
without
rock,
the tennis
okay.
on. That's up rock without the tennis. The cool, smooth. Look,
okay.
how is that
that's
not
up rock?
Upright. Well, how you know? There you go. Let them know what you're doing.
That's
know what you're doing.
Capoeira, bro. That's capoeira.
Up rock.
That's done in the 1500s.
Come on, man. Stop.
No.
There you go.
He just did a capoeira move.
Yeah, capoeira. Yeah.
He did a capoeira move. That's the 1500s.
Capoeira, all that. Yeah, I see it. Yeah, I see it. There we go. That's my evidence right there. That right there will come with this.
But show the white boy spinning on his head.
Let him cook. Let him cook with his references.
Okay,
go ahead.
We having a good time. Go ahead.
Of course we is. We have, but you say that was almost a shot. I know a shot when I see it. I just ducked it. Now watch this.
Go ahead.
What I'm saying is that African Americans was void. They stripped everything from us. They wouldn't allow us to practice our social, cultural, spiritual systems. But they couldn't stop us from dancing, and they couldn't stop us from rapping and communicating. We brought that with us, right? Only thing we was allowed to do was let somebody read the Bible to us. It was illegal for us to learn how to read. So what we did was we had our cultural expression. We never left that. We never left the song and the dance. You would later on find them same elements that I showed you would show up in what they call in hip hop. Now, it don't matter who else joined in and all that together. I'm saying this occurs in America, not in Jamaica. Cool, Herb tell you, I was inspired by African Americans, right?
Facts.
So these things that I just showed you would later on formulate itself to what you would call hip hop. Ain't no getting away from that. It's clear right there. We talking about dancing now. All those elements was there in Africa, not in America, in Africa. So it was those Africans that brought that with them. That's what I'm saying. It's a cultural container of ideas and concepts, African American style. Simple as that.
Puerto Ricans have African in their blood, bro. So
they absolutely
what are we talking about?
No, we talking about in America. See, we ain't talking about that. See, now we talking about if we was in Puerto Rico, then we would say we would say the opposite.
About what came here.
We would say the opposite.
What came here?
No, we talking about what was here already. Too. I agree.
We brought it as well.
But you get my point though.
I do.
And that's what I understand. Now I hear what you're saying. You're basically saying that Africans were shipped out to the Caribbeans and to the Americas. That's what you're basically saying. I get it. Well, I'm talking about the ones that were shipped to America. That's what I'm saying. You saying, yeah, but they flip-flopped them back and forth. That's because that's what happened.
I didn't say nothing. I'm agreeing with you.
I'm adding in there. Okay, so my point is, but no one would actually what is said by the experts that hip hop is African American culture. That's what it is. But African American culture does not mean that you would have to leave out the Puerto Ricans at any time point. See, I'm not doing that.
I believe
just give me African American culture. Give me
Bronx culture.
Now I don't like that. You know why I don't like this, bro? Because Bronx, because Bronx culture or Mississippi culture or Baltimore culture, I'm Park Heights, right? It's practiced by African Americans, just in different locations.
But it's different when you talk about the Bronx, bro.
No, Bronx ain't no different. No.
We got blacks and Puerto Ricans, and bro, this is not. That's a different borough. It's different. It's different.
No, I'm saying don't matter. No, I'm saying that's even better because other people get to express African American culture and throw their little spin on it. I ain't mad at that, bro. I'm not mad, but you can't never take
I don't
away.
agree it's African American culture.
I know,
but
and
I understand what you're saying.
No, listen, I know you don't agree, and that's why they on your.
Crazy. That's why they got that. Yeah, that's why they on your head.
Now we gotta.
There you got it. There you got it. You got it. You got it.
I was saying
hip hop is an African American culture.
No,
he said hip hop. Dr. Cologne, did you just say that hip hop is not African American culture? You said it, right? We could take it back. You said it. You said it.
Hey, Cologne, you studied. Hold on, you studied the Bible, right?
Yeah,
the Bible ain't Hebrew code. We ain't staying here. Look, I'm gonna hit you with this. The Bible ain't Hebrew code.
She just asked me a question. Let me explain what
you said it.
You
said
it.
You said it. I just want you to say it again. You said it.
What I'm saying
say it one more time.
When we talk about hip hop culture, so some would say it's Black culture. Some would say it's African American culture. I say it is Bronx culture. I know, so it's the same thing. I say it's Bronx culture practiced by Blacks and Puerto Ricans. No. That's what I say. No. You disagree, and I respect that. And I respect that.
And that's that's why they go ahead on.
That's not how it go though. You know how it goes.
That's why they on you, man.
That's why they on you.
Yeah. That's why
you don't want it. You just don't want to. Go ahead.
Hold on. The Torah is Hebrew culture.
Say that again, bro. I missed it. Say it again.
The Torah,
yes.
The Torah is Hebrew culture, bro.
Yes.
You don't say nothing. You don't add nothing to that. You don't say, well, they was in the Hebrew. That was no. The Torah is Hebrew culture. Hip hop is African American culture. Now, when we get into the Torah, there are other people that were there that participated, that fought alongside them, and all that. That's groovy. But you would never say that the Torah was not Hebrew culture. You can never say you don't have any experts that would agree to that. That's what I need now. I need some source material, some experts. Maybe you're going to be the one to write the definitive work on it, right? But it's not there yet. As of 2025, the definitive answer is that hip hop is African American culture.
Show and prove. Show and prove. Where the experts say, show the source on what they say about hip hop culture.
I guess I would. I'm sorry. I guess I would ask the question, and this is I'm asking you guys: was hip hop at its inception only? Now, Dr. Maat says yes.
No, I said it was a process.
Okay, no, I'm saying
that it was a process.
Was it only practiced initially by African Americans?
You got the source. You got the source. The museum tell you what it was.
Yeah, it said that Blacks and Latinos, did express, the hip hop culture. Expressed, not created.
Expressed it. We know what express mean.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's the difference. You can't slip that in. We know what express mean. And I right, come on. But what was it that they was expressing, and how did they express it? They expressed it in Spanish.
All right.
No, they didn't. See how crazy that sounds?
No,
that sounded crazy, didn't it?
It's not Puerto Rican culture. It's not Puerto Rican culture.
It's African American culture.
We're not saying it's Puerto Rican culture.
Come on, man.
Nah, I get.
We're not saying it's Puerto Rican culture. What we're saying is.
What you saying is.
We're not saying it's Puerto Rican culture. We're saying it's Bronx, New York culture. And there were different cultures that came together to create a new culture in the Bronx.
Okay, so where's the Bronx? Is the Bronx located in Mars?
Nah.
Yeah, okay, right. Yeah, right. It's located on. Thank you. It's located in America.
But the predominant people group in the Bronx in the 70s. Okay, this is a census has been taken. The predominant gangs, the predominant people were Puerto Rican people. These are New Yorkers. The predominant. I'm talking about predominantly. But I get you, Dr. Maat.
It's all good. No, I respect you. No, I respect you. I hear what you're saying. You go ahead. Go ahead. You said, do you respect? He said, do you respect Kool Herc?
Who is Kool Herc in this thing? Who is Kool Herc?
According to the pioneers, and I believe this, he is the father of the culture because he's the first one to extend the breaks. Now somebody said, well, he didn't bring nothing from Jamaica, and he said, no,
to extend the breaks, but it was already breaks. People already dancing the breaks, right?
Not that way.
I'd like
not
to
in the
read what Herc
same way.
said. I would
What did
like
Herc
Not in the
say?
same way.
Let's read what Herc said. Go ahead.
Read what Herc
look,
said.
look, this
Yes.
what Herc said. He said, I was listening to American music. I was listening to American music in Jamaica. And my favorite artist was James Brown. That's who inspired me. A lot of the records I played were James Brown. Herc also says that he was not influenced by Jamaican sound system parties, as he was too young to experience them when he was in Jamaica.
What is this source? What's the source you're reading?
Don't worry about it. I'll help it.
Oh, come on, man.
It's in an interview he gave. I thought you should know that. So,
I will
supply said, right. So what I'm saying is, I'm gonna go with what y'all calling the father of hip hop. That kind of, and that's like checkmate.
Yeah, that was checkmate. That was checkmate. Dot.
All right, let me give you
that
checkmate.
No. We're gonna get some folks in. No, we had checkmate.
Oh, you going to beat up Herc?
Let me check the mate on her.
We mentioned checkmate.
Beat up Herc.
Now you want to beat up Herc. Now you want to beat up
Herc. Go ahead and beat up the father of hip hop.
No, I'm not gonna beat up Herc.
I'm gonna add some folks in here. I'm gonna add some folks in.
Where's the side? We want a song. Where's the side? The song's supposed to get on.
Okay,
hold on. 19.
Go ahead, Doc.
Can I go? Okay, 1952. Sound clash culture begins in Jamaica. Sound clash culture is, again, sound system against sound system. They're pulling up in different neighborhoods. The 60s, it goes to the UK. Herc comes from Kingston, Jamaica. He comes from Trenchtown. It was heavy in Trenchtown, okay? His father would have known about this. The sound system culture, the sound clash culture in Jamaica was naming their sound systems, and the competitions were whose sound system was louder. We get to New York, we get to the Bronx. The first battles that happen in hip hop's culture, the first battles are among DJs. They're not cutting and scratching. Those are not the battles. It is which sound system is louder than which sound system. You have one person on this side of the gym, another person. Bambaataa did these battles. Mario did these battles. Jazzy J did these battles. And Herc names, he's the first one to name his sound system, the Herculoid sound system. Okay, that comes direct, not toasting. The sound clash culture comes directly from Jamaica. Cool DJ D, who is a predecessor to, he's a contemporary of Disco King Mario in Bronxdale, did an interview with Troy L. Smith, and they asked him about the Jamaican sound systems. And Cool D said, those big sound systems that you saw in Brooklyn were created, I'm paraphrasing, were created by Jamaicans, and they brought this from Jamaica. So there is most definitely a connection with the sound clash culture and what Herc does. Then you got Breakout, who names his sound system the Mighty Sasquatch. That's Jamaican. That's what they were doing in Jamaica. They weren't doing that here. Those are facts. So it is what it is.
I'm listening
sound
to
clash
Herc.
culture.
I don't know. It's Cool
Yeah,
Herc.
I'm listening to Cool Herc. I'm
gonna go with Cool Herc on this one, Doc. I'm with you, but I gotta go. I gotta go with Cool Herc. You beat up Cool.
I feel you.
Yeah, I see. This did so. You have the floor, brother.
Cool Herc.
You had the floor.
Thank you for having me. Ewa, Pura Vida, calling from Central America, Costa Rica. I want to just say the following. Okay. First, the conversation in regards of the origins of hip hop sang in African vernacular English. We recognize it in Latin America as originated in New York, Bronx. That's all I'm not going to say in regards of that, because that is not my area of culture.
Say it again. You was kind of incoherent.
Hold on. Could you please not interrupt me for a moment?
No, I'm really saying no. Hold on, brother. You come on my show talking crazy.
Sorry. Go ahead.
Again. I said
okay.
Again,
Sorry, I misunderstood you.
African American vernacular. Then you went off that. I don't understand it. Go ahead.
Okay. So again, the origin of hip hop sang in African vernacular English. Was and is recognized as originated in the United States by African U.S. residents or African descendants of slavery who are United States citizens. That's undisputable. Now, the contributions of other Afro, be it Latin Americans or Caribbeans, is also part of that history. But those contributions start happening either somewhat simultaneously or somewhat afterwards. That is easy to recognize. Look, I'm going to be very simple, and I wish we could have another conversation in regards to the subject, but I'm just going to put it on the words, because I do have a little bit of a criticism, constructive criticisms. When we're speaking about the African descendants of slavery in the Western Hemisphere, aka North, Central, South, and Caribbean, yes, we can make distinctions by nationality. But those distinctions by nationality or regionality in the Western Hemisphere do not eliminate the fact that the majority of slaves were deposited between Latin America and the Caribbean. And eventually, when the British arrived to the United States, then we saw the mobilization of slaves towards what is modern day United States.
You messing it up. You messing it up.
Why you say that, man?
Because they had breeding. They already knew slavery was going to be, I got to work. They already knew slavery was going to be illegal. So they started breeding slaves early on before the laws was passed. So the majority of African American slaves come from the breeding farms, brother.
First.
No. First what?
I would love that. This.
Oh,
I was bringing that up. No, because that is false. That is utterly, your claim is utterly and completely false. If we see the beginnings of the Atlantic slave trade, particularly,
did you hear
hold on. You said, let me rephrase.
Yeah, rephrase that.
You said that they knew that slavery was going to become illegal. What that date are you referring to? What particular date are you referring to in regards of that?
They already
of that
knew.
knowledge.
I got the sources. I didn't think I was going to have to get into this right now, right? But you know, I'll bust you.
Are you talking anything?
You made me dig down and get the book. It is called, it's the American Slave Coast Slave Breeding Industry, a history of the slave breeding industry. I'm letting you know nothing just pops up out of nowhere. These colonial powers don't just pop up and say, here's the law, slavery is illegal. They already know it's bubbling. They already know what's going on. They already having debate on whether they should do it. And so the Americans started breeding slaves ready for the illegal thing. They was already ready for it. They already started breeding slaves. So I'm saying they bred slaves in America, bro. So you say false, now that's crazy.
The Atlantic slave trade started early 1500s.
Right. They wasn't breeding them then. I'm telling you when they started breeding.
No, they were breeding them then.
No,
the breeding began right away on the 1500s.
No, we said
I'm talking about America.
Whole thing. Man, they
I'm
was
talking
always
about
having sex and make them have sex, but I'm saying specifically now. Now I got to be specific with you.
Yeah,
I'm saying breeding farms. They actually constructed breeding farms.
Do you think that when Brazil received the slaves, they did not have breeding farms?
What's your point? Go ahead, man. I don't want to bog the show down because we got a lot of people.
No, okay.
Get back to hip hop.
Another day we can have that in-depth conversation because there's many points where the North Americans forget the history.
I ain't North American to forget it because I ain't trying to remember it. I got it documented. I'm not running around with it in my head. I'm reading the sources on it. But go ahead.
I'm also reading the sources, and it's also part of my expertise as somebody who's worked on this for the past 25 years, improving the community.
It's hip hop.
But again, going back on this question of hip hop, the only thing I'm gonna say, because and I'm gonna step off on that. Because my interest in the conversation is more broader than just the issue of hip hop. But yes, we can recognize that the origin of hip hop sang in vernacular English happened in modern day United States, New York, Bronx. The hip hop sang in Spanish, Portuguese, and French happened almost simultaneously as those records started hitting Latin America. And I can give you one source. In Venezuela, 1980, Rapper's Light was #1 for several weeks in Venezuela, and it was utilized then by the Conde, or the Count, Perucho Conde, who was a comedian back then, was utilized to do the first aspect of hip hop music in Latin America, using Rapper's Delight as one of the main tracks in that sense. But the matter of the fact, and this goes to the criticism in regards with this, and this I finish.
Hey, Doc, check your phone.
The matter of fact of the influence that has been happening, well, you got to blame your music industry. They started selling their discs almost right away down here. And not only that, but the migrants that were coming back and some visiting family back brought that music with them too. But it's not like Latin America was not creating music at that time. We were doing our stuff. The influence happened. But that happened after what was happening in New York. And sometimes even very close, very simultaneously between the 79 and 80s, when the first records started thrown back here. That's all I'm going to say. But at the end, the claim in regards of the creation of hip-hop sang in English vernacular, in African vernacular English, is of the U.S. resident.
Appreciate it.
Puerto Ricans.
Appreciated this though. I gotta land your plane, man. And brother Ankh, my phone just went dead. Jalen just plugged it up for me, so it just went dead. But I'm laughing at all. I'm laughing at all. I didn't see what you put in there. My phone went dead. It's charging right now. But this though, thank you so much, man. I had to land your plane. Big dog, go ahead.
Hot up in here, bro.
Big dog, you got the floor. Big dog, go ahead. Big dog, you got the floor. Peace. Dr. Cologne, don't go nowhere, man. Your camera's off. We here. Don't go nowhere.
I'm here.
Okay. Just making sure you
step out.
Okay. Yes, all right. Big dog, you have the floor, brother.
All right. So there's a lot of aspects that's been spoken about. I'm from Songview. Okay. Was around for a lot of the beginnings of this. A lot of this came off New York City gang culture. Okay. It didn't just happen in one place. It was happening in different parts of the South Bronx. You know, when it came to the crews and everything, you know, let's be clear, Zulu Nation did not start in 1973. It started in 1976. Zulu Kings came in late 75, early 76. And that was after the death of Solsky, who was the president of the 10th Division. You know, so, you know, Fat Mike, who's no longer with us, who's an OG from the Black Spades, has said it himself. Breakdancing came from Black to Spanish. Okay. On the music side, I'll never take that away from the Black community. But the elements, the rest of the elements, since there was cultural exchange, is what helped move the culture. It's not just one aspect. It's a multitude of aspects that created culture off of rebellious teenagers like myself back then. And this is the culture we have now.
All right,
check your email, Doc. Check your email.
Let me check my email now that I'm on here. All right, big dog. That's did you land your plane, big dog? Let me see. I just see something just came through here.
I pretty much said what I had to say, you know, but I know Sunshine. I know him personally. I was there with him.
I don't even know who that is.
These are OGs from the Spades.
Hold on, big dog. Who you talking about? I don't even see the name on here. I don't know who that is.
Nah, these are OGs from the Spades.
Ain't no name on that right there with the bird on his hat.
Oh, okay. All right, there you go.
Yeah, so, you know, I'm talking about the OGs from the Black Spades. You know, you know, like I said, it was a multitude of things that were going on. Okay. You know, there's a OG from the Black Spades that says we can't put this on one because it was happening through many in the South Bronx. It's a culture.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think that anybody ever. I think everybody agreed to that. That you know that you had multiple people. You know,
and they stated, you know, he stated himself as, you know, the ghetto brothers, predominantly Puerto Ricans. They became a political activist group, which is why a lot of this started, was because of that peace treaty. But it took time. It didn't happen overnight. It took time to develop. And I could go as further back as Robert Moses splitting the Bronx in half with the Cross Bronx Expressway, calling all of us animals, is really what pushed us into this whole environment of the South Bronx, where we just started going at each other. Our biggest mistakes as kids, because we were kids, this was a kid movement. This was not an adult movement. The adults, whether you were black, white, Puerto Rican, didn't matter, didn't like what we were doing. And that goes every generation of music. You know, parents or grandparents don't like it. So everybody caught flack. Not everybody was involved in this creation of a culture. Everybody got involved later on, but not everybody. It wasn't like, you know, every person in the black community was involved. No, it wasn't. Was everybody in the Puerto Rican community involved? No, it wasn't. It was more of those of us who were in the gangs that were really involved. Okay. Now, spoken word over drum beat is centuries upon centuries old.
So what does that mean for you, though? That's that statement there. What does it mean for you? How does your mind, when you say that, you're basically saying what?
That rapping over a drum beat has always been around. Because we could go back into the islands, 1800s, that's plena, right? We could go back into the 1500s, that's bomba. We could go back to West Africa. Everything starts in Africa.
Ha! There you go. There you go. There you go.
You just proved the point.
You just proved our point. Black Press Don, you got the floor, man. Go ahead, chime in. Black Press Don, like he like pop, pop, pop. Go ahead.
Unmute your mic. They're gonna always die the culture.
Yeah.
That's it. My name is the Black Press Don. My name is E Props. I have an outsider point of view only because my parents are Haitian, but I'm born in Brooklyn and raised in Brooklyn. So I'm intimate, and I've presented my work at the CUNY Graduate Center and in Kemet, entitled "Is Hip Hop an African Religion?" You could ask Professor Small about me, all right? And Tariq. Now, in peace to all the people on the panel, Dr. Maat,
peace, warrior, peace.
Dr. Ankh, Dr. Cologne.
No, I'm not a doctor. My name's just Brother Ankh, bro. Don't give me that.
Brother Ankh, I'm in Rod Squad, peace. But here, and that was an alley in the sense of this. You know, I was following your line of thinking as far as how you traced it back to Africa, as far as some of the similarities between the dances and breakdancing. Where we differ is when you call it African American. I prefer to call it Africans in America. Now, see, on the flip side, Dr. Cologne, that's where the issue is. I've lived this. I'm a person who grew up here, educated, I have degrees. I haven't been able to even get any type of traction within my own name. I'm a native New Yorker. I've never been able to get a type of position within hip hop as far as professionally, because it's been co-opted by non-blacks. And that's what you're resisting. And Fat Joe, because you know why? Because it's been lucrative for you. The Hispanic community, listen, I know everybody. Caribbean Cultural Center. I know there's no one I can't name. Now, because you know why? because you've been able, and it's good and it's bad. You've been able to do what it's like. I'll give you an example of being a Haitian American. As a Haitian, when you say voodoo, you automatically think negatively. But what Hispanics have been able to do is use African-based religions and frame it positively, and it's been lucrative for them. And they repeated the process with hip hop, which is why you see people at the Olympics. That's what you've done. You've done it to the level of even creating an entire educational system around hip hop, to the point where I'm looking at an educational system based on hip hop, where now you're teaching Hispanic deities and Hispanic religion because you totally co-opted it. There's no African, like you, that's what you're fighting. But see, what he just did is where the flaw in your argument is. Just like I defer with them. This is what, I'll give you an example. Right now, there's a case called reggaeton and dancehall. Are you aware of that? Where the people who created dancehall are saying, hey, reggaeton is based on dancehall. This is in court right now in Miami. Now, watch this. So one of the persons who's arguing for reggaeton is like, just like the person just said, is saying, no, it's not. We didn't get it from Jamaica. We got it from such and such. And the thing is, there's a white scholar named Robert Farris Thompson from Cornell. That's what he did. He made a parallel between breakdancing and African dance long time ago. Just like I said, he's gone to the university system doing that. So this Hispanic scholar tried to quote that in order to say, hey, no, we didn't get it from Jamaica. We got it from Congo, because that's what Robert Farris Thompson says. But then how is it that you got it from Congo, but then you didn't get it from Jamaica? Same thing. So you got it from West Africa, but then you didn't get it from African Americans. But see, that's when you make the flaw, Doctor.
Check your phone. Check your phone.
That's when African Americans make the flaw, when they don't acknowledge it as being African, because when they do that, they disconnect themselves from the source, pun intended. You see, that's where this whole thing is going on. Two sides who don't want to be called African. Most of the people who want to say, oh, it's FBA, it's this, also call themselves indigenous. Now you tell me where there's a teepee where people are doing spoken word and beating drums like they rapping. It don't exist. That's why you can let Fat Joe diss you, because you know why? Fat Joe, he's Cuban. I guarantee you he practices African religion. Guarantee. And the reason why I'm passionate, because again, me being Haitian American, who's written on these since 2004, I'm the true lineage of Dr. Ben, Gil Noble, etc. When I try to make inroads professionally, not as an artist, as a writer, as a teacher, I get this Hispanic racism. I know everybody, to the point, the writers, your boy Shunez Allah, him wearing all that polo, trying to be God body, trying to be like me, B. Yeah, I know everybody, to the point. See, that's what I'll give you an example. All the writers, Kim Osorio, you know what I call it, brother? The hip hop Ku Klux Klan. Because now, instead of the hoodie being white, the hoodie is a champion hoodie now. See, because I went to Stuyvesant High School, brother. The #1 school in New York City. So to me, when I see people professionally who went to school with me, like Angela Yee, have all these positions, and then I can't get a job, I have to ask myself why. Because all of the non-Black people in hip-hop, Hispanic and white, have all networked with each other on the low to control the business, to control a pipeline. That's why you'll see Cardi B on Atlantic Rec on TV with an accent. But here's the wicked part. That's not everybody does that. That's how the Nigerians do their thing. African Americans down south, Jamaicans, they all mess with their people. But what's wrong about it is how Cardi B could be on the radio, but she's singing a song that sounds like In Living Color with Bruno Mars, meaning you know what's going on in the African American community and you're utilizing it, but at the same time you're excluding them from opportunities. That's wrong. So you mean to tell me the place where but see, that's where the contradiction is killing you. So you want to go around and talk about, oh yeah, you know, hip hop was the days of Public Enemy and Poor Righteous Teachers and X-Clan and this. But in 2024, we just had a black president for 18 years and nobody like that rose from New York yet. Again, because you've been shutting it down. That's what's going on. That's what's been going on. And Fat Joe, he's the face of it. He's the last hurrah of it. And he feels confident. That's why he want to open his mouth and talk about, oh, it's 50-50. Because he's not representing, but that makes you look bad. But the thing, I want to say this too. You got
to get ready to land your plane. You got to get ready to land. You got to get ready to land your
statements, Joe.
Sorry about that.
Just cut 3 of your statements.
Yeah, but you got to get ready to land your plane.
All right, I'll land my plane, but in response to Puerto Rican, because I grew up around Puerto Rican too. Another thing I want to say is that it is a lot of people who have hid behind calling themselves Puerto Rican, but are different Hispanic nationalities. So now that the heat is on Puerto Ricans, they're over here hiding and making you guys look bad. So, but at the end of the day, the last plane is this. African Americans, you did not get that. It's not African American culture. You were inspired by the Black arts movement, which was inspired by colonization in Africa, which created the last poets and then set off hip hop. Because by 1975, James Brown was doing disco. No hip hop in Superfly, no hip hop in Shaft, no hip hop in Black Caesar, no hip hop in the Maat. I'm out.
and I don't give him no bomb for that.
My man went off. My man went off. My man went off. My man went off.
To you, calm it down. Listen. So Africans in America, would not be African Americans. African Americans have a mixed tone. Let me finish. African Americans got a mixed tone. They got about 60 to 70% indigenous Africans from the continental African. And they got about maybe 2 to 3 or 1 to 4% Native American, and the rest European. So we not just Africans in America, we African Americans. And I'm gonna stand on that. Let me finish. No, you drove a whole I don't. You drove a whole plane across the continent.
Yeah, you did.
Let me finish my
let's battle. This is hip hop.
No, I'm not. I'm not battling you.
So you're not hip hop.
I'm a scholar in the gentleman. I'm a scholar in the gentleman.
Like that. I'll pull out my degrees right now.
Let me finish. You're too old for that. You got the gray bit. We have a hard
I'm not too old for none. Hip hop is the founding of youth, brother.
Let me finish my point. I'm simply saying what an African American
is. What we talking about?
We're African American, Black Americans. I don't know what that is. It's a statue from where you tripping.
From where you probably didn't go. I've been to Kemet. Let's go.
Kemet. The fact that you use the word Kemet and not Egypt is telling to me.
Yeah, we could tell whatever. You're using hip hop now after calling things pseudo. That's what I'm talking about.
I knew it. I didn't know.
Hip hop.
You see that? Hey, Doc. You see what it is, though, right? You see how he did that?
I see.
So he always was waiting. He was hating anyway. I didn't.
You a Sonetta kid. I know you guys.
No.
I know everybody.
Bro. Now I'm getting mad now. Now I'm getting mad.
Yo, peace, y'all. We don't need to be yelling over each other or anything like that. Let's just chill.
Hold on, big dog.
Come on, big dog. I'm not a.
Nah, it's just getting loud, man. You know, everybody.
Hold on. Okay, but now you getting loud. What the hell's going on?
Go ahead.
Hey, bro, I'm not a Sonetta kid. Nothing. Had my own shit before Sonetta. Get that straight. Ask about me. All right. Yeah. So Sonetta didn't bring me nowhere. I ain't a Sonetta kid. My name, brother Ankh. I'm the God killer.
And this is the God of hip hop. You can't kill this.
So I'm not trying to kill nothing. I'm simply saying I just made a statement and let's move the show forward. That's all. Not gonna battle you
Is Adam Clay Power African or not? You have a history of having people who are not African and
Say we
still
African Americans, man. Stop
All
it,
right,
bro.
let's land the plane. Let's land the plane. Hold on,
You're
Black. Hold on, Black. Press.
An African American, not just an African. Got my own unique culture. See, I embrace my culture. You don't. Look at him. See, don't nobody want to be African American. You don't even understand what it means to be African. Then when the money start coming, when it all but look, let me tell you this, man. It's about business. Last time I checked,
hold on, Black Press, dog. Go ahead on.
Okay, so I'm saying, so just say as our sophistication level gets a little bit better and we figure out a way to get that money that's owed to us, right? Look, being an African American gonna mean something in a minute. It should mean something now. It's highly expressive culture that has been around the world. I'm an African American. I'm not a Ghanaian. I'm not a Kenyan. I'm none of that. I'm an African American, bro. My ancestors died. Foundation of this bitch, right? We died in every war. We was the first cowboys. All right, point blank. So I'm not doing all that. I'm not giving away my African Americanness. Not for no indigenous Africans. Not for nobody. All right. So whatever you see, you hollering, screaming crazy. I just wanted to make my point. So understand that brother Ankh is a Black American. I say Black American for political reasons, right? I'm an African American. I ain't a damn Egyptian. I ain't none of that. I'm not an All-Mac. I ain't none of that. Now, let's move the conversation forward with Dr. Cologne on here. Sorry about that, Dr. Cologne. I just wanted
we got Pool, and we'll land it there. We'll let Dr. Cologne close us out. Pool, you have the floor. Pool, you have the floor.
Hey, Doc.
Peace, warrior.
And brother Ankh, hey, facts on that. Everything you just said, I'm right there behind you, right along with it. Dr. Collins, y'all had a good conversation tonight. It was no arguing, no cussing, all that kind of stuff. Y'all did very good. And I'm new here, and I'm gonna stay here now because y'all really impressed me that y'all talked to this man and let him know that you got to go with some facts. You got to bring some proof. And I like that. But let me say this. I know they keep saying everything happened in the Bronx, the blacks and the Puerto Ricans. That's fine. I have no problem with that. But I'm from Florida, and I was doing it down here too. And no one, I didn't see nothing from the Bronx on TV. I knew I had black music playing, and the black music was in me and made me dance how I dance. I broke dance. I flipped. I did everything when I was a little kid. So saying that it started up there, it was going all across America, everywhere black people was, because let me tell you something. When we going through stuff, when we're treated bad and we're stolen and stuff are stolen from us, we dance and sing to get through the hard times. And that's what we did. Everybody, from the parents to the kids. Now, the parents, they had their way. But with the new generation that kept coming up, they was doing it their way. So saying it all in the Bronx, and I have no problem with that, because some Bronx people came down to Florida and they was my friends, and they saw we was already dancing like that. And the Puerto Ricans, I had to teach them. I taught them. I taught white people, everybody, how to do that kind of dancing. I didn't learn it from nowhere. It's just how I felt and how I was dancing. And that's what I did. So trying to say that someone else inspired the black culture, I don't think that's right, because we've been stolen from enough. They stole the music, they stole our culture, and then they twisted it and trying to say they created it. Don't do that. Don't do that. Let us have, like Dr. Maat said, let us have what we did. We suffered through this. We did things to make life better for us to live in this country.
That's right.
And be somebody. And yet we still get looked down upon. They keep saying that we got DEI and all this kind of stuff. No, we just as smart as anybody else.
That's right.
And we're not going to let y'all take that away from us.
That's
so
right.
Dr. Collins, no disrespect to you, because I like how you talk. You're doing a good job or whatever. But we're not going to let you take that from us. Not even a little bit.
Not even a little.
I'm going to go ahead and land my plane, but I'm going to stay here with you, Dr. Maat and Brother Ankh, because I really like y'all.
Like you too, brother. Thank you so much for subscribing to the channel. Appreciate you. True teacher. True teacher. Hey, you have the floor.
What's up? Can you all hear me?
Yes, sir. We hear you loud and clear.
Okay. So just to give you my background, I'm a first-generation American. My background is Jamaican, born in Soundview, the Bronx. Grew up in Jamaica as a child, came back to the Bronx in 1976. I lived on the Grand Concourse until 1982, Taft High School, class of 85. I am also a Lukumi initiate. I practice the Lukumi religion, son of Ogun. Let's see, what else? Spent most of my life traveling back and forth to Egypt. I'm a dancer, teacher, choreographer. And so I'm there in the Bronx when all of this is taking off. Now, what I want to say, I think part of the problem when we have these discussions is that everybody has a different way of how they define what hip hop is. And you got to remember that this is something that was a grassroots movement that was started by kids that were just living in the moment.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay?
That is true.
Living in the moment, doing what they were doing, wasn't even thinking about what was going to happen next year, just 50 years in the future. All right? So that's part of the problem. You get 10 people together and you ask them, what is hip hop? You get 10 different answers.
Mm-hmm.
What we can say,
It's true. It's true.
Mm-hmm.
what we can say is that something came out of the Bronx and New York that was dynamic. And you see, in all of this argument about who did what, I think we missed the most important point. And that is, whether you was Puerto Rican or you were Black American or you were West Indian, the dominant society wrote all of us off and considered us all garbage. We were all trash as far as they were concerned. The reason why the Bronx was burning was because a lot of the people who lived in the Bronx, it was a very large Jewish population.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Jewish and other European descended ethnic groups. And they started moving out. And when they moved out, the banks moved out.
Mm.
So you had all these landlords with these buildings that couldn't get loans to maintain the buildings. So what did they do? They started burning them down. You had, like Big Dog said, the building of the Cross Bronx Expressway decimated a lot of communities in the Bronx. So for those of us who were old enough to remember when the country was going through the recession, and they basically told New York, drop dead. And where in New York got hit hardest the most was places like the Bronx, parts of Brooklyn, Harlem. Okay? They looked at us like garbage. Our educational system was complete trash.
Can I build in with that truth? Because we're from the same neighborhood.
Yeah.
Right.
Uh-huh.
When they started building the Cross Bronx Expressway and started decimating the Bronx on that and cutting it in half, right? There's an actual interview with Robert Moses on this, okay, where they asked Robert Moses about, what about the people here? He goes, oh, we got no problems with the people. We just got problems with the animals.
Yeah. And
we're the animals to him.
We were the animals. But yet and still, these animals created something from scratch, right? Well, not complete scratch. We created a youth subculture from recycled material. We recycled old music. We recycled old art.
You about to tell it.
We recycled old dance moves. And we created, these people, these animals, created something that revolutionized
spectacular and went around the world.
And that's what we need to look at, because the real lesson that hip hop has to teach us is the power of the human spirit. No matter how poor a lot of us were, or how destitute, or whatever kind of drama we were getting caught up in, at the end of the day, we still had the connection to the ultimate source of existence in the universe. Whether you want to call it God, or you want to call it the higher power, or you want to call it Olodumare, you want to call it Allah,
Call it religion.
Whatever you want to call it, the fact that we are human beings means that we are still connected to the eternal, no matter what. And that source beats inside of all of us, in our brains, in our hearts. We are still human, and we have the connection to the ultimate source of all wealth, all abundance, all creativity. And we showed the world that we were created, we were connected. No matter what you said about us, no matter what you did to us, we still had that connection to something, the ultimate source of the universe, and it rocked the whole damn world. So to be sitting here arguing about who did this and who that is so goddamn petty.
Let me pause. Let me pause there. Let me pause there. None of us was arguing. That's first and foremost. We brought on Dr. I want to call him Dr. Cologne. We brought on Dr. Cologne.
Yeah, I'm saying
I'm saying he stated his position. And you know, our position is that hip hop is an African American cultural invention that other people did contribute, did also contribute to. That's our position. His position is that hip hop, it came out of Bronx culture, right? And it was created by blacks and Puerto Ricans that were living in the Bronx. And so I think that we had a very respectful dialogue about that, dialogue on that,
let me say.
Let me go next. Hold on.
Okay, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I don't like to give the accomplishments of human beings to an invisible force that we can't figure out what it is, on who culture gave it what, or this and that. I think it was the youth that got together and expressed themselves based off of their ancestry, based off their lineage, based off of what was in them already. So they didn't take something from nowhere. It's in the genes. It's in the gene pool. Right? That's why I showed the origins of the gene pool and where it came from, how it did. And it was a struggle, right? We was oppressed. Whether you was Puerto Rican or whatever, you was oppressed in the Bronx. Right.
And that's what we were.
So the Bronx is unique, right?
Yes, it is.
And Puerto Ricans and all that, I would never leave them out the story of hip hop. Then you don't got hip hop. That's what I'm saying. But I understand that hip hop is African American culture with African American song and dance and African American vernacular.
That's right.
It just is. So that's not even up for debate. So
I'm not debating anybody on that.
I'm not debating that. And so we're all connected through molecules. That's our connection right there. The human family and the culture that formed in the Bronx, right, has spread around the world. That's my say on it.
There we go. And so brother Poole, brother Poole is gone. Brother Poole, I'm gonna holler at you, man. I'm getting ready to get everyone out. I'm gonna let Dr. Cologne, we're gonna get ready to close on out. Okay.
Yeah,
so I do appreciate you hopping on, Poole. Big dog, I appreciate you hopping on, big dog. A truth teacher, we gave you the floor, man. We got to get out of here, okay? But appreciate you coming on, warrior. Appreciate you, man. So Dr. Cologne, I do want to say this. Thanks for coming on. It took some heart. You got heart, Dr. Cologne, because you going up against a whole community. Everybody, and I'm pretty sure you probably got emails and all kinds of comments, And so, you got heart. You got heart, and you standing on your position. What I would love, and you said you are, you came out of academia. What I would love is for you to produce. I know you said you produced a documentary. Is that available for public consumption?
Yeah. I produced two. So the first one is Hip Hop is from the Bronx. And then I just released one September 21st called The Latin Breakdown, Hip Hop's Latino Connection. And that's where we really get deep from Africa to the Caribbean, the drums, and we really focus on the b-boy anthems.
So
and those sounds. Yeah, so I can send those to you. They're free. I can send those.
Are they on like YouTube? Like where do you?
They're on my channel. They're on my channel.
So what is the name of your channel?
Urban Exegesis Studios. I'll send you the link.
Okay, yeah, and I'll put the link under the description of this video. So if people want to, check out your work, they want to critique it, they have access to it. Are you going to publish, as Brother Ankh asked at the beginning of the discourse, are you going to publish any work that can be peer reviewed regarding this topic?
Yeah, I'm currently thinking about a definite scholarly work on
that can be
hip-hop.
that can be peer reviewed.
Yeah, see, that's how that's what I'm
that's
looking for.
work.
Yeah, because I think, contrary to belief, I think you brought some elements that was serious that people wasn't even thinking. But I already knew. I knew where I was at. I was prepared, and I'm comfortable with African American culture, and I'm glad that other ethnic groups want to join in African American culture. I think that's our strength, not our weakness. But go ahead.
I think I would say, man, first of all, thank you guys so much for your courtesy, your gentleness. I've been on a lot of these and I couldn't even get a word in. They're just on me, right? And so I so appreciate that. But I also want to say, as I always say, together, right? We together, and as far as I'm concerned, we built together, we created together, we rocked together, we struggled together in the Bronx of the 70s, and that was my experience. So I just want you to know how much I appreciate both of you so much for just allowing me to come on, but also just respect, right?
No, you earned it though.
Respect, and it's nothing. It doesn't hurt to respect people, and that's what you're supposed to do. It costs nothing to respect folks, to have a respectful dialogue with people, even if you disagree. I mean, it's fine. And your position is your position. But I'm gonna tell you like this, Dr. Cologne. We're going to definitely look at those documentaries you put out there and scrutinize them. So after that, I'll invite you back so we can have a conversation. Okay?
Please do.
All right,
yeah,
man.
let's do that.
All right. Peace and love to you, Doc. You all take
peace
it.
and
Take
love.
it.
All
right, Doc. Appreciate the conversation, man.
Appreciate you. All right, man.
All right.
How you like that, Ankh?
It was a great conversation. I knew.
Absolutely.
Our platforms are dedicated to the high level conversations on the topic. You need to hear what a person is saying before you can even refute it. Simple as that. You got to hear them out, and nobody's 100% wrong about everything they talked about. Especially when you put that much work into it.
Absolutely.
So I think we gave them a fair shot at it. Right. All you got to do is listen, and then you're gonna hear it.
That's right.
So
you just start listening. You say, there it is.
There it is. I'm just
Black excellence. Right?
Black excellence, baby. So I ain't mad at you.
But check this out. So I wanted to let the people know tomorrow we'll be back on at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time tomorrow, family, because someone wants to shut Brother Ankh and Dr. Maat down. They're saying that the first Americans were Africans. And so this brother, he didn't send photos and he didn't a whole dissertation via email. And he said he's coming on tomorrow at 7 p.m. to shut us down, to prove once and for all that the first Americans were Africans. Okay. And so I'm assuming that this brother Ankh is one of those people who believe that Africans circumvented the globe, and we was just everywhere. And so I'm looking forward to that discourse. Brother Ankh, do you have any closing words for the listening audience?
Nah, I see a super chat right there. Big up to Brass. He said, great show. Good to see you live, Doc. Two doctors and God killer. Keep it going.
Peace, Brass.
Right.
Peace. And I also want to Peace to you, Brass. But also, family, thank you all for tuning in, man. Before you all get out of here, thumb up the show, thumb it up. And also, family, share this discussion on your social media platform. Sharing is caring. And we want to each one teach one. And the way to do that in the 21st century is simply share it, right? And not even just on social media. Grab the link and throw it in your family group chats, your friend group chats, right? Let's spread this information. Let's get the word out. And then lastly, family, if you haven't subscribed to the Community of Skeptics, make sure you head on over there and subscribe to the Community of Skeptics. And if you're watching from the Community of Skeptics, make sure that you head on over to Dr. Oya Maat's YouTube channel and subscribe. And make sure, family, that you hit the notification bell so that anytime we go live, you will be notified. We'll see you at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time tomorrow. Peace and Black excellence.
Hey, conscious ingenuity. Y'all know what it is.
You know what it is.